You think you know what happened on Monday Night Raw? Think again. While everyone's talking about Rey Mysterio being rushed to the hospital, nobody's discussing the real story that WWE is desperately trying to hide from you. And what they are covering up will make your blood boil. Rey Mysterio didn't just suffer an injury against Austin Theory. What happened in that ring was a calculated attack that's been weeks in the making. And the most disturbing part, Dominik Mysterio saw it coming and did nothing to stop it. That's right, while Rey was lying in that ring, clutching his knee in absolute agony, his own son stood there with a smirk that cameras barely caught. But we caught it, and by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly why this family is more broken than WWE wants you to believe. Let me paint you the picture of what really went down, because mainstream wrestling media is feeding you sanitized garbage. Monday Night Raw opened with what was supposed to be a standard singles match, Rey Mysterio vs Austin Theory. On paper, this should have been a showcase for both men. Theory's been climbing the ranks. Rey is the legendary veteran who can still go at an elite level. Simple, right? Dead wrong. From the moment that bell rang, something was off. Theory wasn't wrestling his usual match. He was targeting Rey's left knee with surgical precision, almost like someone had given him a detailed breakdown of Rey's recent injury history. Every move, every strike, every submission hold focused on destroying that knee. The announcers played it off as smart strategy, but those of us who've been watching WWE long enough know the difference between strategy and something more sinister. Here's where it gets absolutely infuriating. Rey tried to mount his classic comeback, hitting the ropes for a springboard crossbody, and that's when disaster struck. His knee gave out mid-flight. Not from Theory's offense, not from a botched move. His knee just buckled under his own weight, and he crashed to the mat in a heap. The sound that came out of Rey Mysterio's mouth wasn't the usual selling you hear in pro wrestling. This was genuine anguish. Michael Cole went silent. Corey Graves stopped making jokes. The arena went from electric to absolutely dead silent in 3 seconds flat because everyone knew they just witnessed something career-threatening. Trivia question 1. Can you name the last time Rey Mysterio suffered a major knee injury that kept him out of action for more than 3 months? Drop your answer in the comments below. Austin Theory's reaction tells you everything you need to know about what kind of person he's becoming under this new character direction. Instead of checking on Rey, instead of calling for the referee to stop the match, Theory stood over him like a vulture. He grabbed Rey's injured leg and locked in the figure 4 leglock with so much torque that Rey's screams echoed through the entire arena. Medical staff rushed the ring, referees were pulling Theory off, and still he held on for an extra 5 seconds. That's not heat. That's not getting over as a heel. That's crossing a line that shouldn't be crossed, especially with a veteran like Rey Mysterio who's given everything to this business. But here's what's got me absolutely livid, and this is where you need to pay close attention because WWE edited this part out of their YouTube highlights. The hard camera caught Dominik Mysterio watching from backstage on a monitor. His father is lying in that ring, potentially ending his career, and what's Dominik's expression? Concern? Fear? Sadness? Try again. The man looked satisfied. For just 2 seconds before he caught himself and put on the sad son act, Dominik Mysterio looked like this was exactly what he wanted to happen. Social media detectives have already pulled the screenshots, and they are spreading like wildfire, but WWE's copyright team is taking them down faster than they go up. Why would they do that unless there's something they don't want you to see? Now, we have a quick request for you. We are constantly working to improve our content to earn your love and support. That's why we would truly appreciate it if you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update here on Wrestling Zone Insider. Let's talk about what happened after they stopped the cameras. Rey was loaded onto a stretcher, neck brace secured even though it was his knee, because that's standard protocol when someone's in that much pain and shock. They wheeled him through the backstage area, and multiple sources who were there have confirmed that Dominik didn't rush to his father's side. He stayed in his locker room with the rest of Judgment Day, and when Rey's stretcher passed by, Dominik barely looked up from his phone. Rhea Ripley had to literally push him toward the ambulance area. Even then, Dominik's body language screamed reluctance rather than concern. The hospital reports started trickling in around midnight Eastern Time. Rey Mysterio was admitted to a medical facility in the area where Raw was held, undergoing emergency MRI scans on his left knee. Initial reports suggest severe ligament damage, possibly a torn ACL, MCL, or both. For a wrestler Rey's age, who's already had multiple knee surgeries throughout his 3-decade career, this could genuinely be the end. We're not being dramatic, we're being realistic. The human body can only take so much, and Rey Mysterio has taken more punishment than 10 normal wrestlers combined. If these ligament tears are as severe as sources are indicating, we're looking at a minimum 12-month recovery, and that's if everything goes perfectly. At Rey's age, coming back from that kind of injury isn't just difficult, it's nearly impossible. But let's rewind and examine how we got here, because this didn't happen in a vacuum. Ever since Dominik turned on his father and joined Judgment Day, the family dynamic has been absolute chaos. Rey has tried everything to bring his son back. his tried tough love, his tried compassion, his appeal to their family legacy, and Dominik has rejected all of it. In fact, Dominik has gone out of his way to humiliate Rhea at every possible opportunity. He's attacked him during matches, cost him championships, mocked their family name, and disrespected everything the Mysterio legacy stands for. WWE has positioned this as typical father-son drama, but anyone with functioning brain cells can see it's morphed into something much darker. Here's a theory that's going to make you question everything. What if Austin Theory targeting Rhea's knee wasn't coincidence? What if someone backstage, someone who knows Rhea's injury history intimately, fed that information to Theory? And who would know Rhea's physical vulnerabilities better than his own son? Connect the dots. Dominik has backstage access. Dominik knows exactly which knee has been surgically repaired multiple times. Dominik has motive. He's been trying to prove he's moved beyond his father's shadow and become his own man within Judgment Day. What better way to do that than orchestrating his father's downfall without getting his own hands dirty? The evidence keeps stacking up when you look at the timeline. 3 weeks ago, Dominik cut a promo specifically mentioning that Rhea was one bad bump away from retirement. 2 weeks ago, Austin Theory randomly started calling out Rhea on social media despite them having no prior storyline connection. 1 week ago, Dominik was spotted having an unusually long conversation with Theory backstage at a house show, which multiple wrestlers posted about before quickly deleting. Now Rhea's in the hospital with a potentially career-ending injury, and Dominik's response is complete indifference. You don't need to be a conspiracy theorist to see the pattern here. Trivia question 2. In what year did Rey Mysterio make his WWE debut, and can you name the specific pay-per-view event? Let us know in the comments. Social media has absolutely erupted over this situation. The hashtag #PrayForRhea has been trending worldwide for the past 18 hours, but it's being overshadowed by another hashtag that's even more controversial, Dominik New. Fans are divided into two camps. One side believes Dominik is just playing a character and would never actually want to see his father seriously injured. The other side, which is growing by the hour, believes Dominik's real-life resentment of living in Rhea's shadow has bled into his character work, creating something genuinely toxic and dangerous. Both sides are passionately arguing their points, and it's gotten so heated that WWE had to release a statement reminding fans that what happens on screen is entertainment, not reality. But here's where WWE's statement falls apart. If this is all just entertainment, why did they edit Dominik's backstage reaction out of all official footage? If this is all scripted and everyone's fine, why haven't they posted any behind-the-scenes content showing Rhea and Dominik together after the show? Why has Dominik been completely silent on social media while everyone from Kevin Owens to Edge has posted messages of support for Rhea? The silence is deafening, and in today's age where wrestlers are constantly sharing their lives online, Dominik's absence from the conversation speaks volumes about what might really be happening behind closed doors. Let's examine Austin Theory's role in all this, because he's not some innocent party either. Theory has been desperately trying to rebuild his credibility after his United States Championship reign ended in disaster. He's been floating in mid-card purgatory, getting lukewarm reactions, and clearly needs something to reignite his career. What better way than taking out a legend? In Theory's mind, this might have been the opportunity of a lifetime. Whether he was put up to it by Dominik or simply saw Rhea as an easy target due to his age and injury history, Theory executed that attack with zero remorse. The fact that he continued attacking even when it was obvious Rhea was legitimately hurt shows you exactly where his priorities lie. It's not about respect for the business or protecting your opponent. It's about getting himself over at any cost, even if that cost is another man's career. The wrestling community has been split on how to react to Theory's actions. Old-school wrestlers have been calling him reckless and unprofessional. Modern wrestlers have been defending him, saying he was just working his character and couldn't have known Rhea would get injured. But here's the thing, when you're working with a veteran in their 40s who's had multiple knee surgeries, you have a responsibility to protect them. Every wrestler learns this from day one in training. You work snug, but you work safe. Theory either forgot that fundamental rule or deliberately ignored it, and either option makes him look terrible. Behind the scenes at WWE headquarters, there's apparently been emergency meetings about how to handle this situation. Do they write Rhea off television while he recovers, acknowledging the real injury? Do they try to continue the storyline with Dominik and Theory despite the backlash? Do they pull the plug on the entire Mysterio family drama and pivot to something else? Sources indicate there's genuine disagreement among creative team members about the right path forward. Some want to use this as fuel for an even bigger story when Rhea returns. Others think they've crossed a line and need to cool everything down immediately. The decision reportedly hasn't been made yet, which explains why WWE's official statements have been so vague and non-committal. What makes this situation even more complicated is the real-life relationship between Rhea and Dominik. Despite what you see on screen, they are still father and son. They still share a home when they are not on the road. They are still family, and family dynamics are never simple, especially when your workplace drama is broadcast to millions of people worldwide. Multiple wrestlers have mentioned in podcasts that the Mysterio family situation is far more complex than what makes it to television, with real issues being worked through in a very public way. When you add a potentially career-ending injury to that already volatile mix, you've got a recipe for genuine family crisis that extends far beyond wrestling storylines. The medical update that came out this morning is somehow even worse than initial reports suggested. Rey Mysterio has been diagnosed with a complete tear of his anterior cruciate ligament, a severe MCL sprain, and significant meniscus damage. That's the injury trifecta that ends careers. The recommended treatment is immediate surgery followed by intensive rehabilitation that will take a minimum of 9 to 12 months. For a 49-year-old wrestler, those odds of returning to peak performance are astronomically low. Rey's own doctor reportedly told him that even with perfect recovery, he'll never move in the ring the way he used to. No more springboards, no more high-flying, no more 619 setups. Everything that made Rey Mysterio the greatest luchador in WWE history would be compromised or gone entirely. And where's Dominik in all this? Still silent, still absent, still acting like his father isn't facing the end of everything he's worked for. The wrestling world is watching and judging, and Dominik's failure to show basic human decency is destroying whatever fan support he had left. Even the most dedicated Judgment Day fans are starting to turn on him because there's playing a heel character and then there's being genuinely heartless. Dominik has crossed into territory that makes people uncomfortable, and not in the good heat-generating way. This is Change the Channel heat. This is maybe wrestling isn't for me anymore heat. What happens next will define not just the Mysterio family legacy, but potentially the direction of WWE programming for the next year. If Rey can somehow defy the odds and return, the story writes itself. Father versus son, one final match to settle everything, retirement on the line. That's WrestleMania main event level stuff. But if Rey can't come back, if this injury really is the end, then what? Does Dominik have to live with the knowledge that his character work contributed to ending his father's career? Does WWE take responsibility for allowing a storyline to escalate to this point? Do fans eventually forgive everyone involved, or does this become one of those dark moments in wrestling history that everyone wants to forget? The truth is, nobody knows. We're in uncharted territory here, watching a real family deal with real consequences while the entire world spectates and judges. Rey Mysterio lying in that hospital bed represents more than just one man's injury. It represents the physical toll this business takes on everyone who steps in the ring. It represents the sometimes dangerous blur between character and reality. And it represents the question that's haunted wrestling since the beginning: how far is too far? What we do know is this: Rey Mysterio gave everything to this business. He sacrificed his body, his health, and his privacy to entertain millions of people around the world, and he deserves better than this. Whether you believe Dominik was involved in orchestrating this disaster or not, the fact remains that his father is seriously hurt and possibly at the end of his career, and basic human decency demands something more than silence and indifference. The wrestling business can be cold and ruthless, but it doesn't have to cost us our humanity. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Dominik knew this was going to happen? Should Austin Theory face consequences for his reckless behavior? And most importantly, do you believe Rey Mysterio can overcome these devastating injuries and return to the ring one more time? The wrestling world is waiting for answers, and this story is far from over.